Welcome everyone back to Pommy in Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. Hope you are looking after yourself. We are officially done with the national draft with just the rookie draft to go in about 2 hours from now, and everyone's list will be pretty much complete. They'll have the preseason draft, and then barring injuries, maybe something will happen a bit later on. There may be some training on players, but we should be pretty much done and dusted to move into 2024. A few of you have asked for this. A caveat, after today, I will be doing this again for Carlton. We've preempted it, but I'll be doing this for all 18 teams, taking you through every pick you've got, every acquisition. And tonight at 7, me and Lekdog will be covering the whole draft and the rookie draft to fill you in. So there's still a lot more draft content. So if you can do me a solid, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Firstly, absolutely touched. Today is Mrs. Pom's birthday, and we have absolutely, the numbers are off the charts over the last 3-4 days. Subs flying in. So if you can do me a solid and you haven't done that and you've enjoyed my content, chuck me a follow, chuck me a sub, hit the like button. Thank you very much. And with that being said, let's get into it. So Carlton's first pick then was Ashton Moir from the Glenelg Football Club over in Sandfell. The 184-74 keg medium-sized forward was literally this time last year gunning to be a top 5 pick. There was talk that he could be a pick 1. He was outshining Zane Duursma. Real big showcase for this gentleman here as we look at his numbers last year in the cuts, in the under 18, 6 games, 12.5 disposals, 5.8 marks, the 3 tackles, and the 2.2 goals. A big standout for him is his agility. He had one of the best agility times at the combine, which basically really plays into the fact that he is so athletic and so strong in the air. He is like a walking highlight reel when you look at that. The big thing about him as well is his ability to really look at changing angles using his body size, but also the fact that he is ambidextrous with his feet. He can use both feet at a very proficient rate and hit up targets, which really creates them avenues, particularly inside 50. We talk about shots at goal and trying to change up the angles, and this guy is that one. He's a very similar player. Like, look at a cross between someone like Isaac Heaney and Bailey Fritsch in the way he moves. It's very common when you watch him play for Glenelg, particularly that he starts out in the pocket a bit deeper than most and then marauds up to that half-forward traditional place just outside and has got a long raking kick on him. He is really one of these refined characters, and it is worth noting 30 goals in 10 games is insane. Do you know what I mean? And this time last year, everyone was raving about him. And this seems to be a commonplace facet with someone like Nick Austin. And it's obvious that Carlton have targeted good users of the football. This guy went at just under 80% at junior footy, which is phenomenal. It has to be said. A real highlight reel, though, when you look at his ability in the air, but also on the ground. We can see there we've wrote a little notation for you, but a dangerous dual-footed player who combines ridiculous agility and bullet-like long-range kicking. He has got a bomb on him, and that is a definite area of improvement for Carlton, that they try and get too close. Not many people are willing to take that shot from 50. This kid does it. Loves to bring players into the game, which is a huge thing, and that is something that is very common and poignant, and that's why we've been talking about this kid for about 6 months to Carlton. These kind of players stand out what Nick Austin looks for. He looks for them players that bring in and the team ethos, and that is very Vossi football as well. He likes the players to get involved in all facets of play. There's been a lot of talk about him going down halfback. Why? Well, I mean, that could be the Cam Rayner model. We've seen the difference in Cam Rayner's forward craft since starting at halfback. Gets him to win in the game. Do I think it'll happen? I think you'll see stints of it in the VFL, maybe in the AFL as he acclimatizes, but this guy here definitely is that missing piece. We talked about conduits. He's going to learn off Orazio Fantasia, who's a very incredible goal kicker and a very good player, who's a pound-for-pound player who doesn't need many touches. Ashton can model that game on there. He's got Jackie Martin, who's very similar in his stature and how he plays. He's got some really good kids there to learn off himself. And a big standout is all the reports in Sandfeld is what he's like at training and his character, which really bucks the trend of what a lot of people are talking about. That has been quite poignant in the last 48 hours. And he mirrors up what, when I was doing my research and what people out in South Australia said about him. Has had a few hip issues and things like that. That's kind of common for someone who's grown. And we have seen that the growth spurts have happened in the last 2 years, which really mirrors up on that. Ashton is a really solid player. And this goes back into what we were talking about for the last year, when everyone's been saying this is a shallow draft pool. I've been saying the opposite, that it's got a very deep skill in 15 after it, and there's not much difference in the players, which is why everyone's got their draft orders so wrong. And one of them players that they got wrong was this guy, and I don't mind holding my hand up, right? This came at my desk about a month ago that Carlton were linked to him, and a lot of people were telling me that this was a rookie acquisition, but Billy Wilson, his back-end year has been phenomenal, and that kind of mirrors up with the transition. So if Ashton Moir is the kind of Josh Honey we always wished he would be, we talked about that Nick Austin has a traditional of what he loses, he brings in. So we've seen at high half forward, we tried to play Ed Kerner, we've tried Josh Honey, it's never quite worked out. Ashton fills them slots. Billy Wilson definitely is that Sam Philp, Paddy Dow hybrid. And a big standout for this gentleman is his kicking, his ability to hit a target and not mess around. He's a natural ball finder who has incredible speed. And a big knock on him last year was obviously his ability in and around the clutches. And that is a massive, 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 massive improvement, particularly in the back end of the year. And let's go into his year last year. It's really important that we look that he started as general defender, ended his year for the Rays as vice captain, and also playing in the clutches. Showcasing throughout the year his exceptional IQ. He's got a real good vision and a real good understanding of what he does. And his ability to find space and buy himself time comes from that very quick speed. One of the top times in the testing this year, over 20 meters. And when he moved into the midfield, we really did see that huge improvement. And at 183 and 73 kegs, there's still room to grow there. Massive room to grow. And the fact that he's a natural ball finder, but also the fact that he has a real good understanding is really important. Last year, the 12 games, 22.5 touches, 4.1 marks, 2.5 tackles, and 2.7 inside 50s, really letting us know that when he did play in the national championships, he was predominantly a backman and really showcased his intercept possessions there. Interest noting that he has 4.6, and that is a very key facet we talk about midfielders, particularly under Voss's game, that are looking to take the game on and turn midfield into the attack. Finishing first in vertical jumps, 20 meters, and the running vertical jumps tied first, and the fourth most agile player at testing. You can see why, again, Nick Austin has gone with that crew. He's looked for good kickers, points of difference, and this is probably a pick early. I think Fox Footy had him 69th, which is a comical number, but also I think I had him 55th. So it shows you how you get wrong, but this is now where you're taking players that fit a role. And Sam Philp wasn't good enough with the ball in hand. He only had the pace. Dow, poor disposal efficiency was always his knock. Probably not a big impact when he did have the ball. Billy Wilson is somewhere in between the middle there. And that really gives you that opinion there that Carlton are going to work with him, put some time into him. See him working a lot with Sam Walsh here to really tidy it up. And Carlton have had a lot of success, I think, at developing these type of players in the middle of the park to add different layers of the game. You look at Adam Chera, total different player from when he was drafted, particularly in the last year. You look at Blake Acres, how he's thrived in that. But then you also look at some of the mids that Carlton have had there. Cunners really showing it. Fogarty really showing it, who have points of difference, who have been given opportunity. And I expect Billy to spend a lot of time, like Jackson Binns, who has absolutely improved. And I know that a good mate of his is a good mate of mine now at Fremantle. Their captain, he also speaks very highly of Billy's application in training. So really welcome to the club. We're really looking forward to it. And this is another case that sometimes you've got to draft what you want. And that's what they've done here. They've obviously viewed him higher And I reckon that it's going to be a good little pickup because he has some massive PODs, which is something that Nick Austin has talked about at length this offseason. Last season, we targeted that outside run. This year, we've definitely targeted that internal run, but also that good kicking, because this guy here, Mr. Billy Wilson, was very, very astute with his ability to kick the football. And that is something that Carlton have definitely been looking at. Big point as well, 70% disposal efficiency, which for a player who's playing that role, particularly going inside and kicking a lot of the time, is very, very good and very good starting point. But real good little player, check him out. And the big talk of the town is, obviously, we're going to have the rookie draft in an hour or so, a couple of hours from now, is Matt Carroll, Sandy Dragons boy, general defender, 6 games this year, 10.3 disposals, 2.8 marks, 1.7 tackles, and 4.3 intercept possessions. And Matty Carroll's a really interesting one for me because you've lost Lockie Plowman. And Lockie Plowman, although very maligned by the Carlton faithful, one very useful facet for him was he could play big, play small, and do a lot of jobs, which sometimes you really do need in this avenue. You need to find them players that can do that. And the reason why is it's 2 lists in one, but it's also very good in the game changers. And he really has probably been part of the reason that players like Deline and the South Australians have struggled, because in the South Australian game, he took out the small forwards. And at 188, that's quite a surprise. And he showcased that throughout where he was. So a big thing about Matty Carroll is the 6 games, the 10.3 disposals, we said the 4.3 intercepts, is versatility is the name for Matty. Ability like Plowman to play tall and small and take the game on, which is really important. But this guy has an exceptional high IQ and probably would be one of the best one-on-one defenders on the ground. But his ability to take the game on shouldn't be understated. Very quick, but also has got that real good vision. And there was times that he pinch hit in the midfield. So again, this is another signing where Carlton maybe have looked at another guy that could be converted in the midfield should they take him. But Matty Carroll's got some real good dimensions and he's got some real good footy IQ. And again, ain't shy at kicking the football and taking the game on, which is one of them things that you've always got to look about with these players, because people forget that kicking is something that you can teach, but it's not something that's a virtue, if you know what I mean. You need some talent there. And going at 73% this year is really, really impressive. Sometimes he's got a bit of sad about him. Sometimes he likes to blaze away and take the territory. Sometimes he tries to do too much with the ball. But I think combining his pace with his vision is a really good little skill set. And his ability to intercept is a real plus for Carlton and one that can spend a lot of time. And at St. Kevin's, he was really impressive in the school footy system. And like I say, part of a flag-winning side for Sandy this year. And it is, again, another needs fit profile selection here, should we get him. But I'm very excited about seeing this guy. But that's the 2 guys we picked up, the one that we're heavily linked with. Let me know in the comments. We will be redoing this video throughout the week as we go from A to Z of the 18 clubs, and we'll focus a bit more. But there they are. Hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Much love, everyone. And until next time, Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.